Welcome to Season 5 of On Record PR. I'm your host, Gina Rubel, and I'm thrilled to kick off a new year and a brand new season. We've curated a series of conversations with thought leaders, experts, and visionaries from around the world who will challenge our perspectives, spark our curiosity, and inspire us. We're diving deep into topics such as the business of law, technology, legal marketing, public and media relations, crisis communication, and much, much more. From groundbreaking perspectives and timeless wisdom to leadership insights and business strategies that transcend borders, we cover timely topics that impact us professionally and personally. Whether you've been with us from the beginning or you've just discovered On Record PR, we are grateful to have you as part of our community. Your support means the world to us, and your feedback and enthusiasm inspire us to create content you value. As always, we welcome your topic and guest recommendations. Just send us an email to podcast@onrecordpr.com. Again, thank you for joining us this season.
Thank you, Gina. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm executive producer and guest host Jennifer Simpson Carr, and today I am joined by guest host Leslie Richards, the Chief Innovation Officer at Furia Rubel Communications. Thank you so much for joining us today for episode 133 of On Record PR and our very first episode of season 5.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's lovely to be here.
Well, we are in a very exciting time. I know that we started planning with our clients in the fall of last year for all strategies in 2024. And a consistent theme that came up in our discussions was the very quickly evolving, fast-moving digital landscape that we are all working in and how it's impacting marketing and communications professionals and really businesses generally. Leslie, one thing I'm always so proud to share with people that I know is that you joined our agency with over 25 years of digital marketing experience and that you've launched over 1,500 websites in your career. So with that length of time in the digital marketing space,
what does it feel like to be a digital marketer these days? Yeah, well, I can tell you it's always been a field for people who are curious and open to change because it's a field where things evolve quickly and where new technologies change the way we work and the strategies that we employ. But I will say in 2023, and I think 2024 will be very much the same, the pace of that change has been exponential, and the potential, as well as I think some of the concerns around the technology that is staring us all in the face, is very much top of mind. But I think there's a ton of opportunity for people who are willing and interested in leveraging that technology.
Absolutely. And so let's lay the foundation for this conversation today. What are the biggest trends in digital marketing in 2024 that business-to-business marketers should consider?
Without a doubt, and everybody's probably tired of hearing about it, but AI is transformative. It's going to transform every aspect of our lives, and digital marketing is no exception. It's already doing it. I think that we can talk in a little more detail about the specific areas of digital marketing and how it's going to impact things and what the opportunities are for marketers, as well as sort of the pitfalls that I think marketers are going to have to be aware of as AI becomes more and more a part of our work process, our workflow. I would say the other trend, maybe less on people's radar than AI, is the sort of confluence or kind of blurring of the lines between business-to-business marketing and business-to-consumer marketing. I really think because of the kind of digital ecosystems that we all play in, the way that we look for a home or an apartment, the way that we order our food, the way that we look for entertainment, the way that in some cases we look for our significant others even. The fact that we are so immersed in digital interfaces as consumers has changed the expectations we have of our business-to-business interactions. And so I think the blurring of those two approaches is something else that's going to be very much in the forefront in 2024.
So that's really interesting. And it leads me to the follow-up question of, we work with many industries and many professionals in industries that say, but this industry is different. but my industry needs a different approach because. And
Sure.
I see you smiling, but what is the response to someone who might be thinking exactly that while they're listening to this conversation?
There are absolutely specifics to certain industries, and understanding your audience and knowing that you're speaking to them in a way that's relevant and specific is important. However, the way that we interact with digital interfaces and our expectations about the level of performance, the level of quality, the level of sophistication of the interfaces, and the level of connection and personalization that has been established for us by the consumer interfaces that we use is going to be the expectation for those business to business interfaces as well.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I suspected that might be your answer.
Yeah, and I can give an example. If you have a business to business website, of course, that website needs to address the specific concerns of your potential customers or clients. It is going to become increasingly a liability to have a website that doesn't have the sophistication, the cleanliness, the functionality, the ease of use that people are used to in a consumer environment. It's not going to be okay anymore to say, oh, our website is business to business. It doesn't have to have visuals. It doesn't have to have video. We don't have to worry about on-page engagement. That's going to change.
So what we talked a lot about last year, and I know that this is a forward-looking conversation, but right now, about 80% of the decision-making process is happening online. So to echo what you said, it is no longer just about having a digital presence. It is about having a strategy, truly understanding your audience's behaviors and needs, and creating content that's going to attract new clients, new talent with compelling narrative, building trust, and standing out in a pretty crowded marketplace. And it sounds like whether it's B2B or B2C, that strategy needs to remain the same.
Trust is the bottom line. And you establish trust through the authenticity, an overused word, but it's important. And it's particularly important in light of AI. The authenticity of your content, your ability to address people's concerns and questions with your content, and just the authenticity of your voice is going to be very important. I think particularly as tools like ChatGPT, Jasper AI, et cetera, get used more and more. I think there are marketing agencies out there that are just pounding away on those interfaces and using them to generate a lot of content. That, I think in the long run, it's going to backfire. For one, Google can detect and understand when content is written by a bot as opposed to by generative AI versus a human voice. I think the other issue is so can we on some level, right? As humans, we have a sense of whether or not something has been generated. Is there humor? Is there specificity? Is there something that connects with you? All of those things are going to start to be more important as the interfaces that we use get flooded, as the content market gets flooded with content generated by these new tools.
And you've mentioned a couple things, ChatGPT, Jasper AI, this generative artificial intelligence that has been a big part of the conversation that we've been having. So I want to get back to that in just a minute. Let's pause here from a message from our sponsor, and then we'll pick up on that when we return.
This episode is brought to you by Furia Rubel Communications, a public relations and marketing agency serving law firms and businesses internationally. With an expert team of professionals positioned throughout the U.S. and supported by international affiliates, Furia Rubel enhances its clients' brands through integrated communications by providing expert guidance in crisis management and high-profile litigation, protecting brand and reputation, and supporting internal marketing teams with media relations, media and crisis training, and client and talent acquisition and retention. To learn more, visit furiarubel.com.
So Leslie, before the sponsor message, we were talking about generative AI and its role. And these things are moving very quickly.
Yep.
It's really not a realistic expectation for the average business, law firm, organization to expect that all of its employees can stay up to date on what's happening, how quickly it's moving. So how can marketers and organizations stay on top of these emerging technologies, these emerging trends in technology, and how they are impacting and changing digital marketing strategies on even a day-to-day basis?
Sure. I mean, there are resources that I think are pretty trustworthy that you can make point to check into and read regularly. SEMrush, which is a tool for helping you with search engine optimization campaigns, has a great blog. HubSpot has great content on these topics. Moz. These are all good resources for SEO content. We love Jay Schwendelson at World Data for email best practices, things like that. But here's what I will say. In the end, the trends are going to move quickly and they're going to evolve. What has remained true over several decades now is that quality content is the goal. Quality content is what Google is looking for. Right now, they're prioritizing what they call EAT, which is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So they're looking for ethical, high-quality content. As long as marketers, and this has always been true, this is something that hasn't changed. As long as you're developing that level of content, look for content that's very niche to your industry and your area of expertise. Original resources and original research. That's very useful. Understand your content market and look for the gaps. What are people not talking about that needs to be said in your industry? These are the ways that you develop content that actually can compete in the world of search and digital marketing. And it's not just search. We're talking about opening an email. We're talking about a blog that somebody wants to read. We're talking about any of the kinds of content that we might put out on social media, et cetera.
That's great feedback for anyone listening. Leslie, are there SEO updates that we should expect this year, and how can marketers prepare?
So we're already starting to see some of the big trends. And one of them is what Google is referring to, or people are referring to, as search generative experience. And this is a result of the fact that AI can now really participate in responding to our search queries. So for example, if you ask Google, who was George Washington? Instead of just getting a list of websites about George Washington or American history, you get a very nice paragraph at the top of your screen that says George Washington was the first president of the United States. He crossed the Delaware. He did such and such. And you may not need to click through. You may have your answer. So the rise of zero-click searches will certainly go up as SGE, or search generative experience, becomes more ubiquitous. But there is an opportunity there because there are also links associated with that compilation of content that Google has provided to the end user. And so being one of the links that is a resource for that is going to be something that search engine optimizers are after. Right now, we don't know for sure. We only have conjecture about how you get placed there. So people are watching that. It's kind of a developing area of knowledge. But again, quality content, niche content that offers an answer to a direct question. These are all good guesses of what is going to help place people in those positions.
I know that this digital marketing, generative AI, SEO, they're really big topics that we're constantly having conversations with our clients about and staying up to date ourselves. If someone's listening to this episode and you could tell them one thing to take away from our conversation today, one strategy to implement, one conversation to have internally, what would be your takeaway for them?
Can I give them two?
Absolutely.
Okay. The first would be quality content. Invest in quality over quantity. Quantity helps, and it's important, but quality first. My second would be understand the potential of these new technologies and embrace them and learn to use them. There's a saying going around right now, which is you will not be replaced by AI. You will be replaced by a human who has learned how to use AI effectively. So it is important to understand what these tools can provide, particularly in areas like the CRM, predictive analytics around pipeline, revenue, things like that, understanding the data that comes in from all your digital channels, your automation platforms, understand these tools, learn how to use them. Those would be my 2 recommendations: quality, know and understand your tools.
Those are great. And thank you. And I think those are really important tips as people are coming back to the office from the holiday break and really thinking about diving into actionable work that can make a difference this year. So thank you so much for the conversation, Leslie. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in to On Record PR today. I encourage you to visit our website, onrecordpr.com, subscribe to the show, share it with your friends and colleagues, check out our show notes, and find all the information that you need. As always, we welcome guest and show ideas at podcast@onrecordpr.com, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jennifer.
On Record PR is produced by Jennifer Simpson Carr and Matt Henderson, with support from the team at Furia Rubel Communications. This episode is edited by Željko Tomic of Compost Media Flow.